Man, the final green room of the Super
I
Bowl run,
know. I was
buddy.
thinking about that today. I would like
Oh,
obviously we have more recording. There'll be tomorrow, there'll be Sunday, but this is kind of like the last real
oh, it
pod,
totally like.
you
Let's put it
know?
this way: I have like 4 final thoughts in one because I know I got to get them all in today.
All right,
So,
I can't
yeah,
wait.
there's a theme to it, though. Get ready. There's a theme to my final
There's
thoughts.
always a theme. That is
There
the
is.
lesson of
Yes,
life.
I'm a big
Um,
thematic narratives type of guy. You know.
those watching will get to watch me make what is my favorite morning time drink in a lot of ways. I take water and I pour just a little bit of Gatorade in it.
Oh, what a scientific method
You
this
like
is.
that? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Gatorade by itself's a little too sweet, so I like to water it down.
Okay. Good.
It's a little something I do, a little
You're a
something.
water it down kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, exactly right.
All right, let's
All right,
roll.
let's do
Let's
it.
roll. Who's ready? Sorry,
I am.
I might slam the table today, guys. It just be prepared.
Newsflash: you slammed the table every pod.
Yes,
It's okay.
but it is
Yeah.
a particularly a table slamming day. All right.
Yes.
Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. Day 33, man. 33
Crazy.
straight days of this. And if you weren't in the green room, if you're not watching live, like we were just, kind of lamenting, like we
Reminiscing.
have shows tomorrow and Sunday. It'll be 35 straight days in total, but this is the last of these. This is the last green room. This is the last final thoughts. This is the last we're gonna
YouTube
get
chat.
to say it's Cooper DeJean Day.
Yes.
I'm just so happy that we've had this run. Like we
Always.
started this, Elliot. Like I think when we started this, it was so funny with 2 years ago doing the run, only 28 days. This time 35, no big deal.
No big deal.
But last time we did 7 days or 5 days or whatever the hell it was, and we talked about this. This is not like we talked about on air, but like let me tell you, inside baseball, behind the dugout, inside the dugout, all of it. Like Elliot and I had so many conversations, just the two of us, whether it was driving out to parks, whether it's whatever, this season, talking about the daily pods and talking about how it's like we got to be able to do again what we did in 2022.
We
needed it. And now we're sitting here, day 33, and the Eagles play in the freaking Super Bowl on Sunday. I am like beyond fired up right now. How you doing?
I'm starting to have more just like visions in my head of like the game. We talked about the image of Saquon running in the Superdome with all the cameras flashing in the Super Bowl. This morning I had a vision of like Jalen going up to his dad after he wins it and being like, I did it. Like,
how about them hoisting Nick Sirianni up in the air when they win it?
Nick Sirianni with the kids at the podium, if he does it, would be amazing.
Give it to me.
I mean, think about this. Think about Brandon Graham holding up the trophy in his final game with an Eagles uniform on. Like, that's a real possibility. Jordan Mailata, this will be a chapter in the Disney movie that they eventually make. So it's all there for the taking, man. It is all there for the taking.
Oh my God. I'm like,
it's all there.
I woke up this morning and I've talked a lot this whole run, really, but particularly the last 2 weeks about the stakes of the game, and obviously the Super Bowl, there are stakes. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's a must win.
But just for us, like, obviously for this team, to lose 2 and 3 years. I mean, think about the Bills lost 4 straight. They've never been back. They still haven't been back to a Super Bowl. Like, it's hard to get there. It's hard to win it. Like this era of Eagles football, like, they need this. But like, I would obviously selfishly thinking of it from our perspective and just how different the next year, months, whatever of our lives will be. Like that this city can be on a cloud of joy for weeks and months. Like Philly season, everybody like, oh, go ahead, Phils, do whatever. Like it won't be angry, it won't be pressure.
Right.
Like it changes. Like so much of our happiness is wrapped up in 4 hours of Sunday night. It is. The stakes are so high. I'm on a razor's edge right now, Elliot.
Well, I mean, a week from now, we could be coming off the parade yesterday.
We could be talking about
or it could be at the parade today.
Yes.
And the thing too, like you said, it's 4 hours on Sunday, and it is. Like it's every play in this game is going to matter a ton. But what I think is just the scariest, like saddest in a way, exciting, whatever adjective you want to use, is it'll really come down to like 45 seconds of football, like 6 or 7 plays, that will dictate like so much of this.
That we'll think about forever, one way or the other. Either think about positively, like the Philly special and the Brandon Graham strict sack, or think about like the Devontae overturn or the
Yeah.
fumble or whatever. Like it's such a massive thing.
Yeah. And well, and so I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't know if any player has more on the line from a legacy perspective than Jalen Hurts does in this game. Obviously, Mahomes gets the three-peat. He probably
Mahomes does
catapults,
it. Mahomes is like he's still got time. Like I don't think
and he
obviously
has
there
a
is.
legacy.
Yeah,
Like,
he has a. There
yeah,
is like people already call him the best player of all time, no matter what happens this game. Like
right.
I agree with you. There is legacy on line because they have a chance to do something no one's done and
Yeah.
all that. But like, let's be honest, it's not close to the other potential legacy type.
Well, because with Jalen,
Saquon
yeah. Well, think about the Jalen of all this. So let's say they win on Sunday, and Jalen then has a Super Bowl in his first 5 years as a starter.
and
I
two
think there's a
appearances,
and two
which makes those
appearances.
two appearances look very different when you win one of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the difference between being 1-1 and 0-2 from a legacy perspective is massive. Like think about Jim Kelly and like the Bills, like how
Totally.
they're viewed right now. Obviously, getting to 4 straight Super Bowls is an amazing
It's an
accomplishment.
It's one of the
Yeah,
great accomplishments of our lifetime
it's
watching
crazy,
football.
but
Think about this. They're still the only team to do it. They're the only
yeah,
team that's been in 4 straight Super Bowls, even though they
it's
lost them
crazy.
all. Yeah.
Although honestly, the Chiefs could potentially do it next year. But
They
yeah,
could, yeah, but
yeah,
still, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the Patriots have all gone to 3 straight. Obviously, no one's won 3 straight, but all three of those teams over the course of the Super Bowl era have gone to three
yeah.
straight. The Bills are the only team to go to 4 straight.
I mean, if Jalen wins on Sunday and he then has the same next 5 years as these first 5 years, he's a Hall of
He's a
Fame
Hall of
quarterback.
Famer, yeah.
He's
I
a Hall
mean,
of Fame quarterback,
yeah,
yeah. So just like that's what's crazy about the Jalen of all this. And again, I've spent all week on Radio Row arguing with people about Jalen. I went on a Kansas City station yesterday, just absolutely
doing the Lord's work.
Yeah,
Elliot.
it's in the feed, it's in the Daily Pod today. But like there's not many lists you can make about Jalen Hurts that don't have all-time great quarterbacks on it. Like currently, like this amount of wins in the first 5 years, like whatever. And if he finishes it on Sunday and hoists up the Lombardi Trophy, like we are looking at a Hall of Fame career for somebody that people probably don't even think's a top 10 quarterback. Like
It's
I do,
crazy.
but
Yeah, no, I do
so
too. I do too.
but if he loses, let's be honest here too, because that's we always keep it real with the real ones. If he loses and plays poorly, I mean, think about how he's viewed then. Then it's like, is he the weak link? He's 0-2 in the Super Bowls. This roster's loaded. So, like, things, I mean, that's the importance of this game, right? Like,
Totally.
things change. It changes and shapes legacies. And obviously, in a way, it's sad and unfair that this one game impacts so much, but it is what
But
it
that's
is.
it's the reality of the business. I like that. We keep
Yeah.
it real with the real ones. That is
That could be a t-shirt.
It's a
Yeah.
new Go Birds phrase. All right. We're going to get to day 33. We're going to get to inner excellence. One quick thing off the top.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Shout out to freaking Eric Allen, man. I am
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I am so happy for Eric Allen as a kid. So I went to bed at 6:15 last night, whatever
Obviously.
it was. Had
Obviously,
to.
yeah.
This is big stuff happening, all right? But I woke up this morning and I had almost forgotten that he had a chance because it's been so many years now. He's been in the final 30, the final 15, all that stuff. And I wanted him to get, I felt like true joy this morning, remembering watching Eric Allen play as a kid and what he meant to me and what that defense and that team meant to me. And now Eric Allen's in the Hall of Fame, and it's been so long and so well-deserved. Shout out to Eric Allen. And by the way, as Ray Didinger pointed out on the morning show and others have, the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl, a famous Eagles defensive back got inducted in the Hall of Fame that week, Brian Dawkins.
Yeah.
So, good sign.
My Eric Allen thing is different than yours, I would say. Like, me, I just old players.
Well, you're also a little younger. Those 6 years
exactly.
or 5 years
I didn't
between
watch
us,
him.
you didn't watch it. I watched. It was one of my first. That team was my first love of football.
Right. But what's awesome for me about the Eric Allen thing is, and in this job, we're lucky enough to spend time around these players. Like the few times I've been around Eric Allen, just like the nicest dude.
Yeah.
And so I'm just happy.
Totally.
Like, obviously, as a player, I know like he deserves it clearly. And I've heard people make that argument, but that doesn't resonate with me as much with this. It's just, I'm just happy that a guy I've been around a few times and has always been nice. And he just really wanted it. And I'm always happy for people that really want something when they get it. So
Totally.
I'm just happy for him. Yeah.
And the other thing, obviously, shout out to Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year. Should have gotten some freaking votes for MVP, whatever. But look, the Eagles didn't win enough awards, and the Nick Sirianni of it all is an absolute travesty.
Yeah, or Vic Fangio too.
Fangio too. They both. I hope they take it as slights. I hope they think about it and go and improve it. But on the whole, a nice showing for the Eagles at awards year. Like
Yeah,
just with the.
I also thought the Eagles did something cool on their website. They posted a video of like teammates talking about Saquon and like
That's
what he's
awesome.
meant. Yeah, I think if you're Saquon, like it would mean a lot. I think if you're Saquon to watch
And
that.
look,
So it was a
Offensive
very
Player
cool
of the
thing
Year is
to do.
not some nothing award. Like it's a
Agreed.
great award, and he deserved it. All right.
Yeah.
Day 33, then we'll get to Jim. I mean, it's obviously Cooper DeJean Day. Like that, lock it in, we
Yeah.
know. But I couldn't really cut. 33 is a weird
So
number.
I was thinking Josh Adams. Was that
Oh,
it?
leading rusher for the Philadelphia
Yeah.
Eagles in
He
2019.
was he 33? I feel like he was
Also a
33.
local kid, CB South, I believe.
Oh yes, good call. Good call.
Josh Adams. Oh, Bradley Roby. That's a good call by
Bradley
Tucker.
Roby.
Your guy, Bradley Roby.
That my guy? I don't
No, I
remember that
think you
being
were
my
just
guy.
excited about it in the moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, makes sense. I get excited about pretty much every
Yeah.
player they sign when I know their name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Josh Adams, though, that was a fun little time. I mean, not for the team. Not for the team. It was not fun.
No, it was less fun.
No shot at Josh Adams because he made the NFL. He led the team in rushing. Like, what unbelievable accomplishment! But like, it's so funny to think they've gone from like Josh Adams to Saquon Barkley.
Well, how about
like
how about let's just go to that team? They went from like Josh Adams and
Travis
Fulgham and like Beckham like a couple years before, like all these dudes that were here.
Beckham,
like
I don't remember.
Dorial Green Beckham, remember?
Oh, Dorial. Okay,
he was 2016, not 2018. Yeah. I was jumping back, but like he's one of the first of the. I can't believe that guy started for the Eagles at all.
You did leave off the first part of his hyphenated name.
I did. No, which is wrong in this. In this
specific pod.
You're right,
exactly.
You're right.
That's what threw me off. Yeah.
We are hyphen supporters.
We are pro hyphenated pod. Exactly. Yes.
So all right. Let's get to Jimbo.
He was apparently on Radio Row yesterday.
Finally. I mean, it could not have had Radio Row if Jim didn't make it appear.
And also, Snoop Dogg, I guess.
Him Murph? You think, oh, Murph.
Honestly, I probably not. But like,
if my last name were Murphy, I would absolutely go by Murph. I think Murph is
I think Murph is a great name. I agree. Okay. All right. So I opened up to a random page like we have done. Oh, wow. Look at this first sentence.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
The route of a champion.
No!
Is very narrow, and few are willing to travel the path. It's the path of risk and failure, learning and growth. The champion is not the one with talent, but the one with grit. Perhaps not even the grit you have right now, but the grit you'll gain from facing your fears today and being willing to fail. What a perfect last one.
I can't believe that happened.
This is also the end of Inner Excellence.
I can't believe that happened. Like
that's crazy.
Like if you're looking for signs today, the fact that on the last day, the page that Elliot opened to was talking about being a champion, like.
And grit. I feel like that's a very Philly thing.
That's what this team's all about, dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, not much to not take away from that one. That's pretty clear.
All right, so coming up in a little bit, we'll get to our favorite prop bets on the Bet Parks app for the game, a little Bet Parks picks, a final Bet Parks picks football season, edition.
I wonder who we're going to pick, too.
Coming a little later in the show. Yeah, I know, right? I already know your final score because you gave it on the morning show.
I did,
but I do have a final score in mind as well. But let's kind of put it all together here before we get to that. First and foremost, is there any updates from yesterday? I know that yesterday, from what we saw, everyone said that the toughest, most physical practice they've had. We had the whole illness going on. So just kind of round it up for us, and then we'll get into some for lack of a better phrase, final thoughts about the game before the final thoughts tomorrow and Sunday on the radio. Yes.
So I think the big thing from yesterday would just be that Jalen Carter was a full participant in practice.
Especially after Vic Fangio to give those quotes like, "Oh, I hope he can play." It's like,
I know, yeah.
Like, what are you doing to me here? Don't even make my heart stop for a second, okay?
Well, and I'd also say if any single person on the Eagles was going to say, "I hope he could play," the only person that would make me a little worried about saying it would be Vic,
because he's so honest.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like Vic tells it like it is.
Yeah, but he's obviously Jalen Carter's going to play the game. I did see something on Twitter today about in 2018, the team, the Eagles had a flu run through the team or something like that.
Buddy.
Aguilar needed an IV, so maybe getting sick is the key.
And who was great in that game? Nelson Aguilar. Again, I told you I just watched the game.
Yeah.
We don't talk there's a lot about that game that we've talked about. We do not talk enough about how awesome number 13 in that game Nelson Aguilar was. He was
Right.
awesome in that. He was all over
Yeah.
the field. He had like 9 catches. He kicked ass.
So I think Tucker asked this on the pod we did, but like who could be the Nelson Aguilar in this game? Like who's somebody? The issue is there's no one on this team. I
I
think
know
that's
it's
you.
that it's so like high end guys. It's kind of like Goddard. It's kind of like Goddard being the best receiver in the game.
Actually, I got one. I got the answer. I got the answer. It's Jordan Davis.
Ooh, you go. I like the cross like offense defense
Well, and
comparison.
also I think what made Aguilar's Super Bowl so special is he was viewed as a bust.
Totally.
Right? And I think if Jordan Davis, look, he almost sacked Mahomes in
And he did sack
2023.
Stafford in the last
He
game.
did sack Stafford.
Yeah.
So if
Stafford or
Jordan,
Daniel, whatever game he had the sack in, it might have been Daniel.
I think it was Stafford.
That's
But
what
no,
I
you're
thought.
right. You're right. You're
It
right.
was Daniels, right?
Yeah. But by the way, Jaden Daniels on Radio Row yesterday. It's gotta burn to be the one that lost the championship game and then be on Radio Row and seeing all the
Oh my
Eagles Super
God,
Bowl stuff.
brutal.
But I think Jordan Davis has a chance in this game to be someone that could completely change his legacy. Like, look, I know Aguilar is kind of probably most known because of like the dropping and the GIF and all that. But what Aguilar I think is also known for is like having an awesome Super Bowl, even though he clearly didn't have the career he wanted here with the Eagles. Jordan Davis has not had the career probably he has wanted so far. I don't think he's reached his full potential of or even what the Eagles thought he could be. But if he has a huge Super Bowl, like that's it, like it completely changes. So I think Jordan Davis would be the Nelson Aguilar kind of
I love that.
potential. Yeah.
Well, and I know we talked about it, but I loved his quote after the Washington game. Like he said one more like 8 or 9 times. He was like,
Yeah.
one more. It was unbelievable.
So my other main thought from yesterday, I talked about it briefly on the morning show, but I frankly want your opinion on it more so than Joe and John, who I was talking to. No offense to them, but you're my guy. So
Love it.
yeah. So I was on the Kansas City radio station yesterday, and what really stood out to me was like, I think they view themselves as the team of destiny. Like they're the ones. Yeah. Like he kept bringing up how, they always find ways to win, how they're getting better as the season's gone on, how it's a three-peat in a chance at history, and that this team, like Mahomes, Andy, and these players won't fumble, won't miss the chance at history. It was a little caught me off guard because I thought they would just be like, yeah, we're the Chiefs, we have Mahomes, like we have a great shot.
Well, I think it's because they have to create narratives, right? It's like it gets boring.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're great,
Maybe.
just win.
Yeah.
So I do think that when you look at how the team has won, the Chiefs team has won this year with all the 1-score games, with the blocked field goal at the end of that one game, and this and that, like the Isaiah Likely foot on the line, like I think that what they are doing is mistaking luck at the end of games and games turning the right way for the Chiefs for destiny.
Yeah.
Like that's my guess. Because I think when you win a lot of games, like Washington, that team like talked about, oh, we're a team of destiny, the Hail Mary, the this, the that, like
and then they got smacked.
And then they got smacked in the face. And I think that sometimes, and look, I think sometimes 2017 Eagles, that felt to us like a team of destiny for a completely different reason, So
yeah,
I think that's probably why, but I think that's, a silly way to look at it.
Yeah, I think the Eagles would qualify more, but like I think what's so awesome about this Super Bowl, it's just both teams are awesome, and I'm excited. A little preview: Drew from Westchester has a stat for Saturday.
Oh, you're damn right.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Do you guys want it now?" And we were like,
"No,
no.
Yeah, wait for
we were
the
like,
people.
Drew, Saturday, unveil it live on the show.
Yes,
it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so. I mean, those would be my two things, my biggest kind of takeaways from yesterday. I'm curious if you had any new thoughts on the game in the last.
So
it's hard to have a new thought.
No. So I have one thing that I'm intrigued for your thoughts on that we have not talked about really at all. Like this specific thing that I think, and I know you don't necessarily agree with it, but I think there are some people who feel like it played a role in them losing the last Super Bowl. And it's been an interesting season for this, in the sense of there's a lot of factors between Jake Elliott, between this team just being conservative as an offense all year. Nick's aggressiveness in this game, who better to come to ask about what we expect from Nick Sirianni from an aggressiveness perspective. I know there are a lot of people who say you're playing the Chiefs, you've got to go for on every fourth down. You have to do this, you have to do that. And Nick is, look, in the 4th and 5 in the last game, like that was a bold call, but we have also seen Nick, I think in situations in years past, the way the offense was, where he might have gone for it. And this year, he's like, I trust my defense. I trust my running game. I trust us to suffocate teams. I think in spots he's been and obviously maybe I don't trust my kicker as fully as I have in the past. What are you expecting from Nick, the way he's going to go about coaching this game? Like, do you expect him to be a little extra aggressive, or do you think Nick's going to just keep it
So
as tight as he can keep it?
I feel like I have a pretty good read on Nick, and I'm a little worried he's gonna be overly aggressive in this
That's
game. Now,
that's why I asked the question.
yeah, now again, some people will like that, right? Like some people will like. So I think the decision that sticks in my head a lot is not the kicking of the field goal against the Chiefs. It's the not going for it on fourth down in their own territory late. Like I think that was a chance to be overly aggressive. I'm a little worried because of the narrative that he was too conservative in the last Super Bowl. I think because of the narrative that it's the Chiefs and you're going to have to go for it. I think he's going to want to send a message early. My opinion is I would predict an overly aggressive Nick. Now, the question is like, is that the right thing to do? Because you can make an argument it is the right thing to do. Like, it's the Chiefs, it's the Super Bowl, it's a team that's playing, they're coming off arguably their best game of the year. In fact, it probably is their best game of the year. Like, I think that I'm fine with being aggressive, but I think we've seen a little bit at times this year. Like honestly, the Saints game, right? The last time they were in this stadium, he went for it a lot and it didn't work out and they had no points going into the fourth quarter. I don't think that will happen. But like I think Nick at times can play a little bit of catch up where he doesn't get it early and he's chasing it at that point. I would be a little worried about that.
Yeah, that I'm a little concerned about that. I do think ultimately Nick has been so good since the bye with his in-game decision. The Jags game, really the only game where people even really had questions after it. I think he's got such a good feel for this team, for where the players are at in a game, what they're feeling, what he's seeing, and the coaching staff overall has been so good at adjusting that I trust Nick to keep doing what he's been doing. But I'm with you. Like a potential fear is like, oh, I gotta push it. I gotta get too
Yeah.
aggressive. And look, we've seen that bite teams. Dan Campbell.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's also like it's weird because I do think he'll be overly aggressive, but I do think he trusts Jake Elliott. I don't get the vibe he's like. There's been one or two times here where maybe he could have coached around Jake, and I think he did. But I think like he will put Jake Elliott on the field to kick field goals late in this game if he has to. I think early would be more my concern. I think early there will be like fourth and fours, fourth and fives where maybe you're better off just punting because it also depends like what do you really think of the Chiefs offense? Like it's possible they've watched the Chiefs offense for 2 weeks and there's Mahomes, but they go, there's a reason they were like 18th in the league in points. So maybe they're comfortable punting the Chiefs, trying to pin them deep. They've done a good job pinning deep this year and they trust the defense. So yeah, I mean, we talked about Jalen, but like big time Nick game too. Like this is
Big time.
in what's expected to be, and you never know, but a really close game. Like there are going to be 7 decisions Nick has to make that are like monumental legacy defining decisions. I mean, so I actually saw on Twitter yesterday, someone posted a video of like Doug mic'd up during the Super Bowl. And one, I think somehow Doug goes like underrated in this city. And I don't know if you would agree with that, but like
Well,
Doug,
I think I think he's the person most responsible for them winning that Super Bowl.
yeah, what a special season that dude had. But like Doug is remembered in what was really outside of the Super Bowl, a mediocre 5 years as head coach. He is remembered because he freaking nailed the Super Bowl. Like he just nailed it. Like every decision worked out. So Nick is without question had like a better, more successful 10 years. I mean, the dude wins double digit games every year. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But if and it's just like Jalen,
No, you're right.
if
In
he
the
messes
biggest
up
of
2 or
games.
3 calls, yeah. But if so I mean, look, after Sunday, Nick could be the best head coach in the history of the franchise.
No,
So
it's pretty great. He's already the first to go to 2 Super Bowls. It's just wild enough in and of itself.
That's the other thing I was thinking when I was like envisioning parts of the game. It's got to be wild to be Nick on the sideline and have like 70 million people watch you make a decision that are not easy decisions, by the way.
Totally.
Like we'll all sit there and go, "How you not go for it on fourth?" But like he has so much more information. He has so much more stuff. Like they talk about like a big boy game. I mean, it's a lot of pressure.
It's so
That's
much
my biggest
pressure.
takeaway for the Super Bowl.
I mean, again, like I think we brought this up last week. We were pretty early on this, but the hypothetical's been talked about a lot now of the would you rather be up 4 with the ball and 2 minutes left
I
or down
firmly
4?
want the ball. I
Me
firmly
too.
want the
No, so
ball. Yeah.
and it's so, but here's the funny thing about it is my gut reaction was I trust the defense. I trust the defense. But then you have to think about it and you're like, but I also don't want Patrick Mahomes on the field. And I trust the offense. I trust Jalen to make this
Yeah.
happen. The big stop. We saw him do it in the last time. Obviously, that too much time left, but all that. So, but it's just such a like these are all such tough calls, and this game is so razor thin. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason the line's 1.5 and hasn't moved. Like,
Well,
it's basically a pick 'em.
that's the last thing, and then we'll get into the
And
lines.
then
Is
we'll
like
get to the
that.
picks. Yep.
That was kind of my 2022 take. Was like the season was already so good and special that it's unfair that a razor thin 1 or 2 plays will define how I view that team. This team just unfortunately doesn't get that benefit of the doubt. Like I'll always remember Saquon being awesome from this season, but if they lose the Super Bowl, like it absolutely compounds with the other loss, and
A
that
hundred
it
percent
just,
it does. It
so
is
they
what
don't.
it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. So this team doesn't get the like moral victory the
Like
2022
back to that Bills
team
team,
did.
and obviously they're not there, but I mean, like, what an unbelievable accomplishment
Yeah,
to make it to 4 Super Bowls in a row, and they will always be considered losers. Like
yeah,
it's a shame, really, but that's what they are. They're a bunch of losers, and they made it to 4 Super Bowls in a row. It's crazy. All right.
yeah.
We're gonna get to our favorite prop bets for this game. You can bet all of it on Bet Parks, and obviously a way to keep talking about the game. Uh, Seriously though, it's go time. I mean, if Mike Quick, Seth Joyner, Jody Mack, Mark Zumoff, Rob Ellis, Joe Conklin, and us, Eliot Shorr-Parks, James Seltzer, are all telling you, Bet Parks, that's the app. Do it. I think that's enough, minus us, star power.
Mike Quick alone. I mean,
Mike Quick alone. You got Mark
yeah,
Zumoff here. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, download the Bet Parks Neon Sportsbook app, especially for the big game. Obviously, so much bet on. We're going to tell you our favorite prop bets to bet on for this game, and just bet on our team to win. Like, I really do think they're going to win this football game. They're an underdog. You get plus odds. Like, make it happen. It's a win. Obviously, in addition to the football stuff, you got a casino right in the palm of your hands. You got roulette. You got blackjack. You got
baccarat.
save the best for last, man.
I
I'm
thought it was
so
a
proud of
pretty
you.
good one.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
You can play with a casino right in the palm of your hand before the game, after the game when we win. It is such an awesome thing. And here's a great deal for new users. If you download the BetParks online casino app right now, you get up to $1,000, $1,000 in casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. Casino bonus must be wagered. See betparks.com for the details. You must be 21 in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Michigan. Gambling problem? Go 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's dive in. I got some props ready.
You're better with the props than me. I just want to put that out there first.
I'm a big props guy.
You're kind of the prop king. I'm much more of the money line.
I get it. And I will be honest.
I'm a boring bettor.
There's so much riding on this game to begin with, that it's like, we're all betting on this one way or another, but make it more fun. Bet on Bet Parks. All right. I'll give you first just a player, and then I've got specific ones, but we mentioned him briefly there, but I think betting on Dallas Goedert in this game is a really smart idea. If you look at just his overs on yardage, listen to this one. If you bet, so you got a bunch of options here, but over 51.5 yards is minus 113. It's almost even money. Like, I think Dallas Goedert's going to have 52 yards receiving in this game. Like, I think you could have it on a couple drives the way they've been using him with those screens and whatnot.
Yeah.
And if you want to really go for it, what do you have, like 80 something a couple games ago? Over 74.5 yards is plus 275 for Dallas Goedert. That seems like a
I
good
like
bet
that. I mean, I also think Goddard. Look, last time he was in this stadium, he had the 61-yard catch that saved the season.
Yep.
He's playing
Great
better
call.
and better after coming back from he missed, the final 5. The final 5 weeks of the season or whatever it was. So I do think he's getting back into form, as soccer players would say. But yeah, I really like it. I think the two, I'm sure we'll go through all of them, but like. As much as I do think a big Goddard game is coming, the player I love the most in this game is Devontae. And over 49.5 receiving yards for me is like so comically low. I think he could get 40 yards on one catch. And the weakness on this Chiefs defense is their nickel corner, in my opinion. And Devontae is the Eagles' #1 slot guy. Like, we think of Dotson as the slot guy, but not really. Devontae lined up in the slot like almost 500 times this year. So he will be in the slot. We've seen him make big plays against the Chiefs. I like the Goddard one because I think that he could get lost in the shuffle of everything, but The Chiefs play zone. Devontae's awesome against the zone. If he's matched up in man, I think he absolutely obliterates the nickel corner. He's big down the sideline. Jalen obviously trusts to throw it to him deep. 49.5 to me feels like I am all in on Devontae over
All right,
on
let's
the
get
over.
this. Speaking of throwing, because I am all in on Jalen as well in
Yes.
this
Well, we
game.
already talked about one of our
We
favorite
already
bets,
talked
which
about the
is
MVP, which is plus 350 at the moment. Like we talked about, if you think the Eagles are going to win, like it's like plus 106, plus 110, depending on when you get it for them to win the game just outright. Like plus 350. Like I know Saquon could win it, and that's the risk you're taking. But the quarterback wins the MVP the vast majority of the times. And I think Jalen's going to have a big game plus 350. Plus, I'll give you another fun one too, because I want to get into his touchdowns thing, because I think Jalen touchdowns are an undervalued item. But
okay.
Jalen to win the MVP and score the first touchdown, which you would think, could go
He's having a
together,
decent shot, yeah.
plus 1,200 on those odds.
So it's
So,
Eagles win,
and
Jalen
Jalen scores the
MVP,
first touchdown. So
and
it's not Eagles win. It's Jalen MVP, which is Eagles win essentially.
right,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Jalen MVP and the first touchdown is plus
I like
1,200.
that because
I do
you figure
too.
that I would be curious how many times this year their first touchdown was a tush push. It
Yeah.
feels like it's a decent amount. Watch
Well,
it'll
and
be
then
zero,
one
but
other Jalen one I love that, and we talked already. I think my favorite thing on this whole board, I would actually bump it up a bit. Is over under 200 for like minus 113. I would bump it up. Listen to this one. Jalen over 219 and a half passing yards. So 220 or higher is plus 160. Like, I think he almost had, what do you have, 300 in the last one? Like, I think this is like a no-brainer bet. We talked about it. Our favorite bet, I think, is the over under rushing and receiving yards, 240 and a half. I think it's a lot. But one more. For some reason, like I said, the Jalen touchdowns, Jalen to score 2 touchdowns is plus 480. Saquon's like plus 220 or something like that. Like, I think Jalen is more likely to score
I
2
agree with
touchdowns than
that.
Saquon.
I
Plus
agree with that.
480 seems like a freaking no-brainer bet for 2 touchdowns for Jalen.
I agree with that. Wow, that is. I mean, the 240 and a half was my favorite bet. The 2 touchdowns at 480
is a great base. He scored 3 in the last. He
I
scored
love
3 in the
that
last
number
Super
too.
Bowl. He scored 3 in the last game and 3 in the last Super Bowl. So
so another bet I like is Jalen Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and I know that goes against the. I really think he's gonna have a big day throwing the ball. Like I really do. I mean, as much as we have talked about the passing game ad nauseum all year, but like when he's had to throw it, he's done a good job. Like when there have been big time pressure moments on him to throw the ball. It was after the Panthers game. He lit the Steelers up. And I think going up against Jaden Daniels, he was viewed as the weak link in the game. And he absolutely crushed it. Like, I do think if you like Goddard, I think a Devontae touchdown is very possible. The concern, obviously, with the passing touchdowns is like he has, 280 yards, he crushes it in the passing, but like he tush pushes it in twice. Like, so that's the worry. So I do think the plus 480 for the 2 touchdowns might be a better bet. But I think Jalen's gonna have a big day throwing the ball.
I do too. I'm with you. And that's why I like a lot of the receiving props too. Let me throw one at you. This is one that it's just like, I don't know whether to bet on it or not. My gut says yes. It's more just like, wow, that's the number, huh? What do you think Jahan Dotson's receiving over under is?
Yards, you're saying? Not catches. I mean, I don't know, 4.5.
2.5. It is 2.5. That is over under. So do we think Jahan Dotson gets a catch? Like I don't know which way to go on it, but it feels like a why not kind of throw some shackles on it.
Yeah.
Like he'll probably catch, right?
I feel like they did this. Haven't they done this play recently where they kind of do like the little fake throw where it's like the guy
it's
runs
like the shovel, almost like the shovel pass.
But it counts as a pass. I mean, look, obviously we know like they're not going to run plays for Jahan Dotson, so like you're basically just luck. But 2.5, that's just one catch. It's one catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How funny it would be if he like catches it for minus 2 yards or something and be like,
well, it's also funny to think when they traded for Jahan Dotson, we did the emergency pod where like this offense is stacked, and now they're in the Super Bowl. We're talking about Jahan Dotson and his over under is 2.5.
Hilarious.
Like, yeah.
All right, I got
but
4
also,
more.
We'll go through them. But like Quez got a big target in the last Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I mean. I said this multiple times. If he just makes the catch, Quez didn't.
Yeah.
All right. This is one that I mentioned the other day, but I really want to hammer it home because I think it is a great bet. Milton Williams to get a sack is plus 225. Like
I love that bet.
I love it. You've talked a lot about the matchup, Elliot.
Yeah. So I think the matchup with we've talked about this, but we talked about everything, but Jalen Carter
We've
going
talked
up
about
and
everything.
I know Jalen Carter going up against Trey Smith, if that's where they keep him, then you're going to have Mike Caliendo up against Milt Williams. Milt Williams could make himself like $30 million in
I
this game.
agree with you.
If
It's a
Milt
big
Williams
spot.
in the Super Bowl has a massive game, like he's getting life-changing money. He probably already is. I mean, he's going to be a millionaire, so that's life-changing money. But like ultimately, if he has a big game, he's going to get paid a ton, and I really think he can. Like Milton Williams is one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the NFL. Like he doesn't play a ton, but just in terms of his production per snap, he is one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the NFL. And he's going up against a left guard that has not played well. Now, sacking Mahomes is not super easy. Like he is elusive and he gets rid of the ball quickly. But yeah, I really like Milton Williams now in
All
this
right,
one.
I three more. I can't bet on any Chiefs stuff. Like I just won't do it. It's
Well, I
my
was going to
first.
ask you this because I think you're the
So
perfect litmus test for this.
yeah.
Will you actually I already know the answer? Like, what's your opinion on betting on the Chiefs to win for
No,
like the
I don't. I'm not an
okay?
emotional hedge guy. I know
That's what I
people do
mean.
that.
Yeah.
Like at least I win money. Like screw that, dude. Like you're either winning or you're losing the Super Bowl. Like there's no.
Yeah.
I don't care if I won $1 million. It's not going to change how I feel about the Eagles losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right.
Go ahead.
So,
Go
but
ahead.
if you are someone who can bet on the Chiefs or whatever, I will say plus 105 for 30 plus rushing yards for Mahomes is probably a good bet.
Yeah. I mean, plus 105 is
Yeah.
not
Plus
getting me
up.
out of bed. But yeah.
No, it's
But
not. I wouldn't bet on it.
yeah.
But
But
all
I
right.
think he's a threat to run for sure.
So I have two more. Do you have any left, or are we good to go too?
No, you're good to go. Yeah.
All right. So I have one more player, and then I have one more fun one. So I mentioned this the other day, but this is one when you go back through the season, you're either going to win this by a mile or you're going to lose it by a mile. Because Saquon either has like 40 or 27 or 50 or 35 receiving yards in a game, or he's got 4 or none or whatever. Like it is really a big swing. In the playoffs, he's had 2 games that he would have lost this, only one that he would have gotten by. But I love Saquon over 12.5 receiving yards. Like I just think there's going to be a play where they're going to throw it short to Saquon and he's going to get 15, 20 yards. Like I think it's going to happen again. I know that 2 out of 3 times it hasn't happened in the playoffs. I don't know why. This is a gut call. I just think we're going to see a catch and run with Saquon.
Well, I mean, the best argument for why I think it can happen is if they're gonna blitz Jalen, like Saquon leaking out in the flat is a great blitz beater if you can pull it up. Now Jalen doesn't throw that specific
not
throw
often,
great.
but he's thrown it more.
Yeah, and he's not great at making the throw, but like if you can get Saquon on turf in the open field against a blitz, like you can get those 12.5 yards in like 3 seconds, right? So I like it. Yeah, over 12.5. I mean, yeah, they're gonna blitz Jalen, and so I think we'll see how the Eagles plan for it. But yeah, I think over 12.5 is a good bet.
And this is the last one I have, and this is like a non-player one, but I think this is just a good bet. Total interceptions for the game, both quarterbacks.
So for both teams, okay. Can I guess what it is?
2 quarterbacks who have been historically great at not throwing interceptions. Yes. What do you think it is?
Actually, I don't have a great guess. Is it just over one? Is it like
0.5?
It's
a half. It is a half. So
yeah.
it is over under a half. Under a half, as in saying there will not be an interception in this football game, is plus 180. I love that bet. Like that. I don't think either guy's throwing an interception. Like if I had to bet on it, I would bet that the guy who's thrown 1 interception since the Browns game and the guy who went since November without a turnover isn't going to throw an interception. Things happen, balls bounce in the air at the end of the game. You never know what can happen, but like plus 180 odds against an interception. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, plus 180 is good. I agree. Those are good odds. Like the Eagles have forced 10 turnovers in the playoffs?
But they're going to punch it out. They're going to punch it out.
Right,
say no turnovers.
You're right. Oh wait, another bet I do like. Someone texted me this. I think it was our boy Maniac Malloy. But I like this one. This does go against it. Quinyon Mitchell to have an interception is plus 800.
Ooh.
He's had 2 in the playoffs, right? 2 straight games, right? Or maybe it's 2 out of the last 3, but whatever. I think Quinyon plus 800s. I mean, it's just a high number, and I want Quinyon.
It's a high number. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's had 2 in the playoffs. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get to final thoughts.
The final thoughts of
the final thoughts.
All right. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Here. You go first.
I know. All right. I think
why change it up now? You go first every time. I feel like
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
So it's a music final thought, but I think it is one you will agree with. obviously, like this goes without saying, but like there are certain songs that are just you hear it and it like puts you in a certain mood, right?
Of course, it
I
puts
think
you in a time and a place.
yes, I think one of the best vibe songs where the second you hear it is like you feel the exact same way every time is "Time of Your Life" by Green Day. I think whenever you
Mm-hmm.
hear like so I think we were in the Uber yesterday.
Isn't
I
it called
forget
Good
where.
Riddance? Isn't that the name of the
I
song?
don't know. I call it "Time of Your
Okay.
Life." Who cares?
Okay.
But whenever I
I
hear
saw
it,
it live in concert when I saw Green Day.
that was probably very cool. They would be a good one to see in concert. I have not seen them,
I
but
think it's yeah. Go ahead.
it is called "Good Riddance, Time of Your Life." So we're both
Yeah.
right, actually.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Also, just call it "Good Riddance" at that point. Like, have a
Yeah.
take.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
yeah,
Exactly.
but I just think like you hear it and it's like it's something unpredictable. Like I think it's like one of the best vibe songs there is. And also, while not the most intriguing final thought, it's been the time of my life doing this pod.
Oh,
So it felt like a
I
good
like they got
tie.
Green in the band's
Oh,
name
it's a good
too.
point. Didn't
Can't
think
go
about
wrong.
that. Yeah. So yeah, I think
I
it's an
love
all time
that. The
song
time
when
of
you
your
put
life
a
line at the end made it work. That was good
yeah. There
work.
you go. There you go.
All right. My final thought is a 3-pack. It's a family
Wow.
affair. It's a family affair. That's my
Family is
theme.
here.
That's a theme. First, a shout out to my brother Peter, who
Always.
does not listen to the podcast year round until the Eagles are in the playoffs, and then he becomes our biggest fan. So shout out to Peter, who is declared himself, and I think it's a perfect name, the Final Thought Ombudsman,
All
because he
right.
will often text me what we got wrong
Yeah, yeah.
and
I
in
can
this,
only
so I'm going to
imagine his
say
thoughts
two
on my
things that we
final
missed.
thoughts.
They mentioned one, I hate to even begin to talk about calm movies again, but he
Yeah, yeah.
agrees with you
Thank
because
you.
less editing, less kind of frenetic
Yeah.
pace. And I point out to him that I was talking about not all of them were. I was semantics argument, but I'll let you know he was on your side in that argument. Also, and this was rough. I messed up. Me and Tucker, all of us messed up the Armageddon song that we said it was the Jet Airliner, which is actually a Steve Miller Band song. The Jefferson Airplane song from Armageddon is Leaving on a Jet Plane. Leaving
Uh
on a jet. Remember, they all sing it together. They jump in. So,
yeah.
Peter, thank you for correcting me and getting it right.
Another song I
Um,
love that I can't think of the name of right now. But like the main song from Armageddon's an all-time
you talk
song.
about the Aerosmith song, the Don't
Yeah.
Want to Close
Oh my
My
god, dude.
Eyes, Don't
That
Want to
song,
Fall Asleep because I miss the
Missed You,
pain.
baby. I would
And
guess
I
the amount of
don't
time
want to
wanna
miss a
miss a
thing. That's the
thing.
name of the song.
I would guess the amount of times in my life I've listened to that song and then immediately put on Iris by Goo Goo Dolls. Like I don't know why I put them together
They
in
go
my
together.
head.
Well, you probably had
Yeah,
it on a
but
mix or something. I have
yeah,
so
but
many songs where I'll hear a song and I expect another one because I've had it on a mix, mostly
yeah,
from my brother Peter, for what it's worth. All
right.
right, so shout out to Peter. That's part one. And I know there is nothing on the podcast that Peter likes more than a little Zoeism. So a quick
There we go.
Zoeism on the way out. Yesterday, Zoe has finally discovered bagel bites. Probably should have discovered sooner.
Dude,
That's on me.
it's so funny you bring that up because a few days ago, it was just me and Tucker at one point. I think we were waiting for you to get on. He had on an Elio's hat. Bagel Bites also freaking fire back in the
Bagel
day.
bites are fire, right?
I love
Also,
them so much.
they're the
Yeah.
best. So anyway, she's eating a bagel bite. Literally, me and Emily and her sitting at the table. She takes a bite of the bagel bite. She looks at me and Emily and goes, "This is sick."
I mean,
Like,
it's a great way
okay.
to
Well,
say it.
I was
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, it is. Yeah, let's
Dude,
go.
also, you want to talk about an all-time jingle like pizza in the morning, pizza
Oh,
in the
classic,
evening, pizza
classic.
at supper time.
Also,
That's a
bagel
great one.
bites. I think even more than pizza itself, the all-time. Give it a minute before you take a bite because you will burn the roof
That's
of
a
your
great.
mouth.
Well, the other one,
Right?
Tostitos, the little
Tostitos
pizza.
too. Yes,
Yeah, those are
those are the
all-time
top
as
two.
well.
Those ones that'll
Yeah.
shoot out and it's dangerous.
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah.
I'm with you. All right. And then my final family thought, similar to you,
There we
is
go.
for the Go Birds family. Like
Here it is.
one of the true joys of my life has been able to do this for 33 straight days with you guys, with like the community that we built, with the the all the real ones calling the shows, the real ones chiming in on the pods and texting and
Yep.
all this stuff. Like I just like this is something that matters so much to us. Like you could
Yeah.
tell, like we've made it our lives to do this. And like obviously you've listened to this pod, you know that I'm a freaking psycho when it comes to Eagles, like that I love this so much. I love this team so much. I love this city. I always say it, and it's true that like the sports, and particularly the Philadelphia Eagles, are woven into the fabric of this city in a way that is just not normal. Like, it's not like that other places. So just from the bottom of my heart, from Elliot to thank you. Like,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on this ride with us, for letting this run be a part of your soundtrack of the Super Bowl run. Like, I just, I'm humbled and flattered by it that anyone listens to two buddies who would just do this in the car wherever we're driving
Yeah.
anyway. Like, thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been on this ride with us. It's made it so special. And I love everyone. Like, let's
I
freaking
mean,
win a Super Bowl, man.
I'm not gonna be able to say it better than you did, but obviously I'll try considering I'm also an emotional man. But like, you're absolutely right. Like, there's so many cool parts of my job, and I'm lucky to have the job I do. I travel the world for it. I go to games. Without question, the number one favorite thing I do in my job is the daily playoff pods. Like, I working at WIP for 7 years, it's the best part. And I love people coming up. Dude, you know how many people have come up to me at the Super Bowl and be like, here's a final thought. I'm a
Oh,
real like doubt.
love it.
Yeah, it's
Love
the
it.
best. So look, it's not over yet. We still
No,
have a few
no.
more, but I mean, it's the last time I'll see your pretty face in the studio pod like this. So it is, there is a sadness, but it's excitement as well.
Excitement as well. And let's hope the next time we're back in this studio doing a podcast, it's to revel in a championship, because that will freaking
Yeah,
happen.
absolutely.
And look, to Elliot's point, this specific thing with the dailies at 10 a.m. and all, it might be done, but tomorrow, 1 to 3 on WIP.
Yeah.
Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, 10 a.m. to
Good
12
point.
p.m.
That's a good
appropriate
point.
there.
Yeah.
So we'll be on 10 on Sunday. But check us out. If you're a real one, call us. We want to talk to all our real ones. This is, again, it's been such a special thing, and we got a couple more days leading up. The Eagles and the freaking Super Bowl, man. All right.
There we go.
Thank you again to everyone from the bottom of our hearts. We'll talk to everyone tomorrow, 1 to 3 on WIP. Be there. And until then,